Hi, welcome to Aloha Friday Art. I'm Ms. Edna, teaching artist in the schools and author-illustrator. Today, I'm going to go over some tips and techniques for drawing with markers. I have a bunch of my favorite markers with me. First off is a Sharpie chisel tip marker, that is. And you get a variety of lines that look like this with it. As you can see, they're variable lines. You can go from thick to thin, and that is all because of its very cool chisel tip. You see that? It has that angle, and then when you turn it, it becomes narrow. So the way in which you hold it and draw with it, it just becomes this dynamic drawing tool that you can just keep drawing with and not have to switch pens, which makes it a very popular marker with caricature artists. The next marker that I'm going to show you is a medium tip marker pen. And it pretty much looks like this. Comes in a variety of colors. As you can see here, the colors are really, really nice. They're deep colors, and they also have bright colors in the Sharpie line. And there's also this metallic choice of color too. I think this is a bronze. And the other Sharpie pen that I'm going to show you is a brush Sharpie pen, or a brush pen. And it looks like this. And as you can see, it has a very similar resemblance to the brushes that we use in watercolor and in other types of drawing. And if you look at the type of lines that you can get with this, it's really interesting how much pressure you put on it. If you put a little bit more pressure, it gets really dark. Even more variety with the brush pen. And last but not least in the Sharpie line of pens that I have is the fine point Sharpie pen. And what's really nice about the fine point Sharpie is that you can get into a lot of detail with it. You can also get some nice effects that you can't get with any other type of marker using the fine point pen. So watch what happens when I do a technique that's called cross hatching. That's when you just draw parallel lines that are next to each other with a space in between, and cross over. And you keep crossing over until you build up the color so that it's darker. So as you can see, as I'm doing the cross hatching, it's going from light down here to darker. And that's because I'm cross hatching more and more in this smaller area, or this certain area. That's what cross hatching looks like. Now, if you try another color with a fine point pen and place it next to it, using the same cross hatching types of lines, you can see some interesting textures come up on the paper. And then if you go into the other color with the blue, if you go into the red with the blue, watch what happens in the middle. You actually start to create purple. So there's a lot of possibilities with a fine point pen. You don't have to stick to small details. You can work in larger areas like this in very interesting ways. Last but not least, I'm going to show you what you can do with a highlighter. This is just, a typical highlighter that you can pick up at the stationery store. And as you can see, it's a bright yellow that doesn't stand out very much on the paper, but maybe that's the effect that you want. You want something that's soft. And if you decide to go next to the other colors, you can have a nice effect with the softness of the highlighter. It starts to have a little glow around it. And if you go into the colors even more, you start to change the way those colors look. A little bit of orange coming through.